Everyone, thank you for joining me today to this Mentee orientation event. I would like to first welcome you for joining our program, and I am positive that at the end of the program, you will reap the benefits of engaging in such impactful relationships with a well-established professional and learn from them how to navigate Canadian job market with success. Today's session is to provide some framework and context to help you navigate this new partnership that you're going to develop with our mentors and share some best practices of in mentorship relationships. And today I'm going to share what the learning outcomes for this session are going to be, such as understanding the benefits of mentorship. We're going to talk about what to know before you start your mentorship journey, what mentorship is and is not. We're going to then move forward with your mentor's role, some do's and don'ts in a mentorship, and how to structure your mentoring sessions. And at the end, I'm going to do an overview of the career mentorship workflow, which is a workflow that we have created to keep track of your progress as you move forward with the program. And only students who are going to be officially accepted and paired with a mentor will have access to that workflow. So let's get started. And I would like to talk a little bit about what mentoring is. I know that I have addressed that questions during our info sessions for students who attended, and many of you have a good understanding of what mentorship is. So our mentorship program here at IGS is an occupation-specific mentoring program that matches a job-ready international student who is currently studying at a postgraduate level to a volunteer mentor who shares a similar professional background. Our mentors help our international students to understand how the local job market works, how to build vital professional network in the Greater Toronto area, and these mentors are also going to help you to develop job search strategies and guide you to make informed decisions in the context of career development. While our goal is to match our students with mentors from the same profile, we may not always be able to achieve it, but I can proudly say that for this semester, we were able to match each of you with someone from either identical or very, very close profile in order for you to receive all the information regarding those role sectors that you are exploring from someone who has already carved that path, and they can help you as well how to carve yours. In this Mentee orientation event, I'm going to share with you what are some of the most important career domains and topics that you need to discuss with your mentor as you move on with these mentoring sessions. We will be sharing at the end what we call a needs assessment chart that includes these 5 main career development domains, such as job search and application, and from your mentor's perspective and experience, what are some of the best sources, or either websites or other resources that you can use to look for positions that you are targeting after graduation, or how to tailor your resume in the context of the most specific roles that you are going to apply in the future. Because of course I know that you're taking career preparation courses. We have created lots of services and programs in order to help you design your resume based on the Canadian industry standards. However, when you have that one-on-one session with your mentor, and when you are especially targeting specific roles, that one-on-one can provide so much insight about how to word your resume. What are some of the key terms or very customized wording for specific roles that you want to work after you graduate, and mentors can come in very handy in that aspect. Mentors also can help you around how to expand your networking, how to grow, and where you can find special events such as industry events where you can network with people from the same background. They can talk about workplace culture. And of course, here in Canada, understanding workplace culture is very, very important in your career success, which may be very different from the countries that you're coming from. So mentors can cover a lot of those questions and provide you with full understanding of how things work in Canadian culture. So each of these main career domains would have a list of topics where you can choose from, and then in all your mentoring sessions, you can prepare a mentoring meeting agenda. You can list these topics, and then you can discuss with your mentor, receive guidance, advice, or help in trying to carve a plan that is going to help you then reach your career goals at the end of the program. So some of the benefits of mentorship is about, again, understanding the workplace culture. And this is especially true for internationally trained professionals. I myself am a landed immigrant. So when I first came in Canada, I didn't understand many aspects of the workplace culture. I came with the idea that from back home, things would be pretty much the same. And even though you may be very good at what you do, for example, if you have been a data analyst back home and you were a great one, and you can do the job here as well. But there are many other aspects of the workplace culture that doesn't only limit to the specific tasks of a data analyst, let's say, or a project manager. So you need to be able to understand what are these other areas that you need to learn and be effective at practicing them. And having this one-on-one interaction with a mentor can help you understand the entire workplace culture and be successful to establish good relationship with colleagues, exercising good communication skills, especially with people that come from a different cultural background than you. So one of the benefits of mentorship is related to the workplace culture. Then also mentorship can help you uncover what are some of the skills that you need to develop that are part of your future job role. So your mentor can share their experience with you. What did they do as they moved along with their career? What type of training they had to complete in order to become experts in their field, so they can share those resources with you as well. It's a great opportunity to network and to expand your network. And this is one of the areas where most international students lack. They don't know people as they come to Canada either to study or to work. So the ability to know a professional from a field that you're interested and to have discussion around how you can grow your network and how that person can become a point of reference to introduce you to other professionals. That's one of the greatest benefits of mentorship. Also, understanding your industry. Sometimes industry trends and demands can vary from one country to another country. And as you come packed with lots of skills and experience from back home, there are certain things here that may vary from the countries that you're coming from. So having these ability to share the knowledge of current industry trends and demands from your mentor can provide some very good insights of what the industry is looking for in professionals like you, and then can help you make decision about how you can proceed in terms of meeting those demands by the industry that you're targeting. So your role as a mentee is another very important topic in this whole discussion. And the main goal for a new mentee is to create a meaningful partnership with your mentor that is going to benefit both parties, and it will keep your meetings well structured, to the point, and produce the desired results. At the beginning of this partnership, you must sit down and you must spend a little bit of time clarifying what you can legitimately expect to give and get through this mentoring program. You need to discuss with your mentor and negotiate and agree upon expectations of these partnerships. You have to commit to the scheduled mentoring sessions, which are going to be also part of the expectations that you are going to outline. You must be punctual, you must be prepared, you must be engaged with your mentor, sending in advance your meeting agenda. Or when canceling your session due to any exigent circumstances, inform them as early as possible. And follow your mentor's guidance. Put into practice everything that you will learn from them, and also report back on any outcomes. Mentors love to hear how their coaching is coming in real terms. If you have a small success story, such as being able to connect to a recruiter on LinkedIn, or after following your mentor's tips, you were able to get contacted by a recruiter for an interview, or if you had followed tips on how to approach people in a networking event and you were able to collect people's cards and potentially arrange to meet them outside of that event. So these are like those small successes that mentors wants to hear from their mentees. And your role is to try your best to create those meaningful relationship, to be professional, and to have the commitment to growth by doing what we outlined. Now let's talk a little bit about who drives the mentorship. Because sometimes mentees, they as they sign up for these programs, because mentorship programs happen everywhere, not only here at IGS. It's a pretty common practice, especially from organizations who help internationally trained professionals to find employment and to integrate in the workforce, to create and design and create these mentorship programs. And the question for all mentees would be that probably the mentor is the one who has to guide the relationship, because the mentor is more experienced. They know pretty much what the mentee has to do in order to progress in their career. However, that's not entirely true. It is the mentee who drives the mentorship. It is the mentee that sets the relationship goals and communicates to their mentor the problems that they want to solve. The success of the mentorship depends on the mentee's proactive interest the ability of the mentee to connect with the mentor, to come prepared, to ask the right questions, to request feedback, and finally, the ability to apply what has been learned in a demonstrative way. Uh, Once I sent out the pairing email, getting you in touch with your mentor, you must follow up after my email and reach out to them. Introduce who you are, request when they can be available, or maybe request from them their availability, and try to work out to find common days and times that you can meet during your stay in the program. So create a schedule and stick to that schedule for the duration of the program, so you avoid any arising scheduling conflict or cancellation that can produce some undesirable outcome for your partnership. So approach your mentor, set up these expectations, set up a schedule and stick to that schedule. And always put into practice what your mentors are going to share with you. So we talked a little bit about what mentoring is and what mentorship is. So this pretty much summarizes all what we have shared about what the definition of the mentorship. Um, It is a skill development tool. It is a knowledge sharing opportunity. It targets specific roles, sectors that you want to explore. Now let's dig into what mentorship is not. So mentorship is not a guarantee of employment. Some students may confuse mentorship with other type of career development programs or services that kind of guarantees some type of employability for the students, such as through internship or co-op. Mentorship is not meant to get you hired. While it can lead to a potential job interview through networking or shared information by your mentor, it does not assure employment. However, both parties may develop competencies and skills that improve overall career development, which may lead to greater employment opportunities for the mentee. It is not a replacement for professional development. It's more like coaching. Mentorship cannot take the place of a formal training. For example, if you want to become a project manager, and in order to be a certified project manager, you need to go through the certification process of getting your PMP. That's completely different from actually having these one-on-one coaching with a mentor, and it's wrong to consider that as a professional development. It is not personal counseling, so coaching and counseling is a bit like they differ in nature. Counseling is more on a personal level, and mentorship is not counseling. Mentorship is a structured partnership only in the context of career development and progress. So mentees should not seek counseling from mentors on any personal issues. So these are some of the things that mentorship cannot provide, and you cannot expect from your mentors to deliver. How to be a successful mentee. So here you can see outlined a list of characteristics, and these are not exclusive to mentorship only, but are also essential in professional settings. So as new professionals, you should be able to uh, not only practice, but to have earned these particular skills. You have to be motivated, you have to be committed, you have to have great communication skills, eager to learn. You have to be a team player and have an overall positive attitude. Consider mentorship as a testing ground where you are learning and practicing those skills. You have to keep records of your interactions with your mentor. Be self-aware of how you are practicing these skills and ask for feedback or some kind of validation from your mentor. These are some of the skills that an employer would be asking you to validate using past experiences or work situations. Taking notes of each interaction you have with your mentor can serve as an artifact that you can use later on in your job interviews. So, being able to record your experience as a new mentee, um, that can make quite a difference when you tell that story in a job interview. For example, if in a job interview you may happen to be asked a question such as how committed you are, or tell me an example where you showed real commitment, or that you were a real team player. You can use your experience as a mentee in sharing that story. That besides your studies and besides the fact that also you may have families um, to sustain financially, you were able also to engage in these extracurricular activities or programs in order to progress as future professionals, and you were part of this career mentorship program and you were under the guidance of a mentor, and tell the story of how committed you were by being punctual to all mentoring sessions, by following all the guidance and the tips of your mentor, and by reporting back the results of those interactions. So create a story out of this experience and use these stories in any future job applications, or when you attend any event. They can be part of your pitch to potential recruiters, etc. So create experiences, turn those experiences into stories, and use those stories to make an important point during job interviews. And mentorship can be part of these experiences and stories. So, what to look for in your mentor? So, they are experienced in their field. You're going to have to see your mentor as someone who is an expert and knows very well their field, because many of these people, even though they share the same background and experience in specific roles that may match your previous role, they understand the Canadian workplace way better, and they have lots of knowledge and experience to share with you. That's why they signed up in this program by volunteering their time, because they are motivated to share that knowledge with you. They are fully committed and they are emotionally intelligent. So they understand your struggles, they understand your situations, where do you need more help, and then they tailor their approach based on these understanding about you. So they also have to be emotionally intelligent to do that. So now let's start talking about how to prepare for your meetings. This is a very important aspect of mentorship, and for a successful mentorship, you always have to be prepared and well organized. I'm going to start sharing some tips and some kind of framework about how you can structure your first meeting with your mentor. And first meetings always make a lasting impression. The first thing is to establish trust. So be honest when you share things about you to your mentor. Um, the following questions can guide your first mentoring conversation. They can help you get to know one another and establish mutual expectations and goals. A suggested best practice is, again, to always come prepared in the meeting. You can include a meeting agenda before each interaction with your mentor. It's a good practice to keep notes on the topics or items that you want to discuss. And at the end, you can reflect with your mentor on these topics and put those reflection or knowledge that was exchanged into practice. When you share this meeting agenda with your mentor, it helps your mentor structure the discussion and keep it focused on the mentee's career development needs. Before the first meeting, it is recommended to prepare some questions about yourself, your background, your short-term and long-term goals, because this information that you provide about you will better position the mentor to focus on your needs and share information that is targeted to your goals. Some information that you can share with your mentor in advance is about your educational and professional background, your greatest strengths and greatest weaknesses, your short-term and long-term goals, and your hobbies, interests outside of work. Be honest, be open, and if you are honest and open and you are your true self, that is going to resonate with your mentor, and that is going to make a good impression on that first meeting. Um, Another important aspect of that first meeting is to consider what type of questions you may expect from your mentor. Your mentor may be asking you, how do you see their role as your mentor? And what are some of your expectations? So, what do you expect your mentor um, your mentor's role to be throughout this partnership? Uh, they may ask you about the ground rules that you need to set at the beginning of this partnership. For example, if there is any confidentiality that must be, both parties must be adhered to. So some topics that can be discussed and some topics that cannot be discussed. They may require you to be open and honest. Um, some of the topics that may be off limits, for example, can be performance reviews or personal lives. And once that is established, you need to adhere to these expectations. They may ask you some questions, for example, what you may consider to be challenging about this partnership, or if there are any topics or urgent interests that you would like to start with. Or what topics do you want to cover in your conversations. They also may ask you how you want to structure the meetings. For example, you need to establish if the meeting agenda with the topics will be shared with your mentors always in advance or leading your session, your scheduled session, and if your mentor should only adhere to the topics that you have listed, or also you can be engaged in other topics that are part of the professional development, but not necessarily specific ones that are listed in the meeting agenda. So setting expectations is very important. And both mentors and mentees should define their roles and expectations of one another. These expectations can be set through a mentorship agreement where both parties agree and sign on these expectations. And in your mentee package that later on I'm going to share with you, you are going to be receiving a mentorship agreement template that you can use to set these expectations with your mentor. These must be always decided beforehand and ideally in the first meeting. And then you sign this agreement template after you have decided on this list of expectation, which can include also the frequency of your meetings, the schedule that can be approved by both parties, such as dates and times, and other important aspect that you and your mentor will agree to be part of that list in that agreement template. Once these expectations are set, both mentor and mentee keep a copy of this agreement and adhere to its content. For example, some expectations to agree upon can be the frequency of the meetings, if the mentor will be provided with a meeting agenda in advance, and how many days in advance, because some people may be very busy. They would not prefer to receive that list of topics that you want to discuss with your mentor last minute. They prefer to either receive it 24 hours in advance of your meeting or 48 hours in advance. So what are these important timelines that you need to decide together? That can be other expectations that you may want to list in that agreement, such as if you are willing to discuss your failures and your successes, what kind of metrics you're going to use to demonstrate that you are applying what you are learning from your mentor, and how that can be assessed by your mentor. Or what are some of the skills that you want to um, develop or more or evolve more, that may be part of a future role that you are interested. Or you may want to identify professional development goals, priorities, and other career interest that also can be part of your discussions. So having that agreement template and outlining how you're going to structure your mentoring sessions, and what mainly are going to be your discussions throughout your time in the program, can help you achieve the desired results, and keep your mentoring sessions well structured and focused to the main points that interest you. Also, in the mentoring, the template, the agreement template, you can also put other things such as time commitment obligations. For example, being accountable for scheduling meetings. If there is going to be an established policy about meeting cancellation, what that will look like. If it's like a 24 hours notice of the cancellation, or if the mentor um, uh, may not accept a last minute cancellation. So being respectful of each other's time and schedule is very important for a successful partnership. So all these must be outlined in that meeting mentorship agreement template. I will be sharing the template with you, and having all these in mind, you can complete it with your mentor, and you can outline all of these expectations in that first meeting. So some of the do's and don'ts in mentoring. Many students who have not had previous experiences with mentorship, due to lack of understanding the relationship, may go ahead and may sometimes engage in certain activities that are big don'ts. So it is a good opportunity for here to share this part about what you can do during your mentorship and what you can't. So I'm going to start with the do's, and especially when it comes to the do's, it's pretty easy to understand what you should do. For example, you should be proactive. You should really be invested in the partnership. As a mentee, you need to define goals, seek out advice, attend the meetings, and ask questions. And mentors are responsible for offering advice, guiding, and encouraging you as mentees to develop certain skills and expand your professional network. You need to be able to set goals, which it's a big part of the job for mentees to define the goals during the mentorship and create an action plan for how to achieve these goals. It's very important to identify them early. They can help clarify the type of mentor that you're looking for, and like what are some of the areas that the mentor should focus when they're helping you. For example, if you are looking to expand your network, or if you're looking to gain new specific skills related to a role, or getting general advice on significant career decisions. You need also to communicate clearly. As a mentee, you are leading the partnership, so engage in clear and open communication with your mentor. Try to use simple language when communicating your need, and be open to constructive feedback from your mentor. If you feel that your mentor may not understand certain aspects of your career needs, or is offering advice that's not applicable, please communicate it openly and early in your interaction. Sometimes language barriers may affect the quality of communication between you and your mentor. This is especially true if mentees are paired with a mentor from a different cultural background. Always ask for validation from your mentor that your message has been conveyed clearly. Try to speak slowly and allow your mentor time to process the information and understand the situation before going to the next topic. Mentorship is not only to receive career development guidance, but it's a great opportunity to practice crucial career focused skills such as intercultural communication, problem solving, critical thinking, etc. Now, some of the don'ts of mentorship. Don't talk more than you listen, of course, within a reason. Having a mentor isn't an opportunity to vent out all your frustrations. Communication is key to working together and is a two-way channel. So lead the conversation by sharing your needs and challenge it, but keep it professional. Do not mix any personal issues into your career development mixture, and listen carefully to your mentor's advice. Do not discredit your mentor's feedback. Take full advantage of your mentor's experience and knowledge. Be open to considering your mentor's advice and learn to take different approaches than the one that you are used to. You will be surprised by the many different approaches that exist to solve a problem. And this is a great opportunity to practice some problem solving skills using your mentor's experience and knowledge. So how would you structure your subsequent meetings? So we talked a little bit about that first meeting. However, it is important also to have well-structured and well-organized subsequent mentoring sessions. And structuring meetings throughout these partnership is critical for both of your benefit. So your benefit as a mentee, but also for the mentor. So ensure that you establish a productive and successful relationship by implementing the following guidelines. So prepare in advance a meeting agenda, as I mentioned in the previous points, and I will show you how to have access to an agenda in the IGS portal through the mentorship workflow. You can download a copy and always have it prepared in advance for your meetings. Ensure that you send the meeting agenda to your mentor a few days prior to your scheduled days to allow them time to prepare for those topics of discussion. This way, your mentor will have the means to come up with the right approach. Always take notes during the meetings and share them with your mentor at the end so the mentor can add any comments or reflections. Save those meeting agenda notes even after your mentorship journey ends. They are valuable pieces of information that you can continue to practice even after you finish your program. Remember, they are a validation of what you have learned and how you can develop further those shared strategies. Identify topics of discussion for your next meeting. So at the end of the first meeting, maybe it is a good practice for you to identify what are going to be the topics for the next meeting. Maybe it can be an expansion on the topics of the previous meeting, or maybe they can be completely new topics that you would like to cover with your mentor. And the next step at the end of each discussion is clarifying what those topics are. And for that, you will be given a very great tool, which is a needs assessment chart that can help you determine what are going to be the topics for your subsequent meeting. Always share this information with your mentor. Sometimes your mentor may want to focus on more than one area to expand the application of what you're learning and practicing. For instance, if one of your items of discussion for the following meeting is where to search for job opportunities, the mentor may also want to pair it with networking and how to conduct informational interviews. So always work with your mentor on how to approach the next meeting topics and use the opportunity to problem solve together. Implement the strategies learned. So mentorship is not only collecting information from your mentor on how to develop those skills. It is coupled with putting into action what you are learning. And this is crucial to a successful transition into the workplace. If in one of your mentoring sessions, you and your mentor discuss strategies about developing your networking skills. Then search for potential event to attend, or start reaching out to professionals on LinkedIn, or attend if, for example, you are thinking to do any certification, such as becoming a PMP. Maybe why not attend event organized by these professional associations. In your following meeting, you must provide feedback about the outcomes of practicing what you learn. For example, if your mentor may have assigned you to apply for jobs in roles that you are targeting, and then you have gone together through the process of designing your resume and making your resume job ready using those keywords and that you will find in the job description, and matching basically your resume as close as possible to the job description and skills outlined in there, and your mentor help you in the process. Then after, your mentor may request to have a copy of your resume and see how you implement it, all of what you discussed together. So mentorship, again, is not about only receiving information, but is mainly about putting that information into practice and collecting the outcome of that. At the end, you must reflect and share what you have learned together. And one of the best ways to learn is by taking the time to reflect on what you knew before you started and how your mentorship helped you explore your career path, and putting some of that knowledge and strategies into practice, and assessing the outcome. So all of these meetings should always be accompanied by a reflection after you have implemented all these strategies and tips shared by your mentor, or sometimes even through this reflection, providing your feedback to your mentor, that what has worked and what did not work so well, and what the mentor may need to change in their approach in order to address what may have not worked as well as planned. So always find the time to reflect on all of these implementation of the information and the resources that you will receive from your mentor. So I'm going to, after we wrap up the presentation at the end, I'm going to take you to this initial needs assessment tool, which is posted in the portal through a workflow that we have created for the purpose of tracking students' progress in the career mentorship program. You must use this tool to create a mentoring session plan, and you're going to find it to your Mentee handbook, but also the mentorship agenda. Before each session, select a domain that you want to focus your discussion. For example, the job search. Underneath the job search domain, you will see a list of topics. Or underneath the networking, you will see another list of topics pertaining to networking. And proactively implement strategies that you will learn from your mentor and provide feedback to your mentor about possible outcomes. I will soon share that needs assessment in the workflow as we move to the end of the presentation. So for the career mentorship program, you will need to attend 2 events and submit 1 engagement report. The 2 events, so the one that we are currently running, the Mentees orientation event, but also the final event, which is going to be an in-person event. The date has not yet established, but very soon we're going to post it in the portal under the workflow, and you'll be able to book into that event. And it's going to be a networking event where all mentees and mentors come together at IGS and reflect together on their experience with the program. The engagement report that you will submit at the end, it is crucial, and we really want a high participation from your end to find some times and submit that report so we can collect your experience with the program, how the program has helped you in different aspects of your career development, and information about what we can change in order to improve it for the future cohort. So the engagement with the program involves attending these 2 events and submitting 1 final report, plus attending the scheduled mentoring sessions that we were talking about in the previous point. So now let's talk a little bit our last piece before I move on to the workflow. How you should end your mentorship program or your mentorship journey. So ending the mentorship program is equally important as initiating it. Mentee and mentor must sit and reflect on the partnership and what they were able to achieve during this time. Some of the questions that can be reflected upon during the last meeting are as follows in the slide. Were the goals outlined in the mentoring plan achieved, or did the mentorship contribute to real outcomes? What are some of the outcomes that mentorship produced? Or what obstacles did the mentor and mentee encounter, and what tactics were successful in overcoming them? If either the mentor or mentee could rewind and start the business mentoring relationship over again, what would they do differently? So it is very important to be able to collect together that feedback and really assess how the mentorship has benefited you, and what are some of the areas that still you could work in order to develop them even further. So as you progress to the end of the program, it is very important that you answer to these questions with your mentor. You may want to decide if potentially these mentoring sessions can continue after the program ends. And if that will be the case, we highly encourage it, because we want you to continue to benefit from these ongoing relationship with your mentor. So you may want to decide if you will continue them, or if you're going to wrap up these mentoring sessions at the end of the program, but you can still be connected through other means such as LinkedIn, and from time to time to follow up on your mentor, how they're doing, and also asking them if they come across potential opportunities that you may be a very good candidate for. Forward those opportunities to you. Um, for this particular point, you can ask your mentor if they are willing to continue to mentor you even after the program ends. However, if they say no, just thank them for the time that they committed during this time, and do not press them to continue to mentor, because they are also very busy professionals and may not find the time. I have seen mentors who were willing to continue to mentor students who actually had great outcomes with the program. They were able to not only put into practice what they learned, but they were so invested, so committed, that the mentor saw that it was worth the time to do extra sessions with them, and you may find yourself in that position. So if you really commit to the program, and if you really are professional and eager to learn, believe me, the mentor may want to actually continue to mentor you even after the program ends. So your attitude is going to somehow establish if that relationship will grow even further after the program ends. And it can lead somewhere. It can either be something like helping you in your co-op opportunities, or helping you with finding a job in a specific field, introduce you to important people that may be hiring managers or recruiters. So if you really invest your time in this program, your mentor also will invest in you in many different ways. So I believe that your attitude is going to determine if that relationship can continue even after the program ends. The last piece, which is at the end of the program, after you do that last mentoring sessions, you will attend the in-person event and also complete the Mentee final engagement report that I was talking about in my previous point. This is my contact information. And my role as a program lead is to ensure that our mentees who participate in this program are able to translate their skills and education into the Canadian labor market standard. My role is to ensure that you receive full exposure to this industry knowledge through mentorship and apply effectively lessons learned with the help of your mentor. I will be checking on a regular basis to ensure that you are going through a smooth experience and probably mitigate any issues that may arise during your mentorship journey. You can arrange a meeting with me if you need to discuss anything concerning your mentorship experience, challenges that you may be facing, or even share any successes. And believe me, we have had plenty of success stories where I have had the great pleasure to be informed by our mentees that they were able to find a job opportunity or a first interview, and some of them were able to land those opportunities thanks to our mentorship program. So your success is our success, and we'd love to celebrate with you. So feel free to reach out to me to discuss any successes that you may have during your time at mentorship program, or any issues that may arise and that you want to discuss them with me. And before I go to a short Q&A section of this presentation, I'm going to now share with you the workflow that I was talking before, where you can find the mentoring agenda template, the Mentee handbook, and some other links and documents that you can access through the workflow. So right now I'm sharing my screen. And as you can see, I am in the IGS portal. You all have access to IGS portal. And once you log in, you can go to the Industry Connector Hub. Career Mentorship Program is part of the Industry Connector Hub programs and services. So if you click in it and you go to the Career Mentorship Program Fall 2022, you will find yourself in the workflow. The workflow is accessible only to students who signed up for the program. So there is a welcome message, and there is a bit of a blurb about our career mentorship program. And in this section here, IGS career mentorship package, you will find your one-page mentorship agreement template, the meeting journal to be shared with mentor at the beginning of each mentoring session, general mentorship guidelines, and the Mentee handbook. So if you go to the general mentorship guideline, you can click, and these are just general guidelines about best practices when attending a mentorship program that you can read at your own time. If I go back, then the next one is attending the Mentee orientation event, which already took place. So you have completed this step. And the next one is Mentee, before this, the next one is the career mentorship meeting agenda, which comes next to the general mentorship guidelines. So it's a multi-stage process of the mentorship journey. You go to the View IGS Career Mentorship Meeting Agenda link, and if you click, you can visit the document. And once you click Visit Document, it's going to be downloaded. So I'm going to open the file so you can see how it looks. You can use the same template for every subsequent meeting that you will be doing with your mentor. And you can put a location. For example, if you met with your mentor virtually on Teams, on Zooms, WhatsApp, whatever that is, you can put it here, and the date of your meeting. And this is the section where we have included the needs assessment tool that I was talking about. So you can use a rating system to kind of prioritize the topics that you would like to cover from 1 to 5. So 1, let's say, that is a high priority, and 5 that you're not really interested. And then the domains that I was talking about are how to apply for jobs, for example, where and how to look, how to identify potential employers, understand what employers are looking for in your specific sector, preparing a strong resume, preparing a strong cover letter, creating a strong LinkedIn profile, and creating a plan for applying for jobs. So if, for example, in one of your mentoring sessions, this is a priority topic for you, you can put a rating, or you can just include these topics in your in this agenda and send it to your mentor in order for your mentor to prepare and to provide guidance on that specific topic. So you can outline them here. Or, for example, it can be culture and communication, because you want to learn more a little bit about the Canadian workplace culture. And some of these topics can be how to demonstrate confidence in a job interview, or small talk in a work, professional, or interview context. So what are people's conversation in workplace here in Canada? What are some type of communication, direct versus indirect? So any of the topics that you see under these oranges, orange colored section, you can put it into that meeting agenda as a topic, and you can put several of them that are high priority for you and that you want to discuss with your mentor before each of your scheduled sessions. So you allow your mentor time to prepare for those topics. So these are some of the examples, but if there are any other topics that may not be included in this needs assessment, but for you are very important topics, then you feel free to add them to this section here, and list them and send them to your mentor. This is just for your reference, this specific section of your needs assessment tool. And it's to kind of help you to identify some of the most important topics that usually come up in this type of mentorship relationship. But feel free to add any other topic that may be important for you to discuss with your mentor. So this is the meeting agenda and how you can access it through the workflow. Again, you all have access to the workflow by going to the main landing page of your IGS portal, going to the Industry Connector Hub, and clicking here on Career Mentorship Program Fall 2022. If you happen to be a student who does not have access to the workflow, email me so I can add you to the work group in the portal so you can have access to this workflow as the rest of our mentees. So the next one that I want to share, I shared the general mentorship guideline. I shared the IGS Career Mentorship Agenda, which is this link here. And the next one is Mentor-Mentee Agreement Forms. So if you click in here and you click on Visit Document, another attachment will be downloaded, and this is an example of your mentorship agreement. And you can add as many points as you see fit. You can add when and how you're going to meet with your mentor, the frequency of your meetings, dates. And I think if you prepare your dates based on your and your mentor's availability in advance, and just create calendar events for those dates where you can attend those mentoring sessions, this can avoid any confusion about issues such as, oh, but I didn't receive your email about the date that you agree, and I'm sorry, I didn't see it on time and I was not able to join. So try to do some prep work and put everything in advance, prepare all the sessions with your mentor in advance. So you have, then you don't have to think about, okay, when I'm going to meet next with my mentor, or my mentor is not sending me any email, so I'm not sure when they are available, and just leave it at that. Try to do some prep work, organize your mentoring sessions in advance with your mentor, and stick to the schedule that you will decide with one another, and outline everything in this mentorship agreement form, which is available for all of you through the workflow. So going back to the workflow, the next one is your the handbook. So Mentee handbook, this is a PDF. Handbook is pretty much a summary of what we shared during this mentoring, mentee orientation event. So if you click on visit document, you can download a PDF copy. It has pretty much everything that we discussed, and you may want to read it at your own free time, and have it for your own reference. So these are the pretty much the documents that we have shared with you. So we shared the general guidelines are just a link that you can click, and then it will open, and then you can read through it. Then the two items, the three items that you can download are the mentoring agenda, mentoring meeting agenda, the handbook, the Mentee handbook, and the agreement template. And you can all download them through the workflow. The workflow, again, is linked to your IGS portal. And if you go to your IGS portal to the landing page under Industry Connector Hub widget, you can find it under Career Mentorship Program Fall 2022. If anyone does not have access, please let me know so I can provide you with access. Okay, now I'm ready to receive any questions that you may have, any feedback, any comment. Anyone has any question? I think someone posted here that in-person event, yes, in-person event is going to be arranged probably first week of December, right before the semester ends, and will take place at IGS. Rebecca, you can unmute yourself. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to ask me any questions.
I want to say thank you very much for the orientation. You pretty much covered all aspects of the program. And then when, like you advised, when questions come up during the mentorship program, we can always reach out to you.
Yes, you can always reach out to me. We can arrange for a meeting, either in person or on Teams, if you have to discuss any matter. And My contact information is, I'm sharing it here, but also is in the workflow and also in the Mentee handbook as well. Anyone has any question? I see that yeah, tell me.
Okay, so when are we supposed to expect the email?
So in the following week, I'm going to send out the email notifying you who your mentor is. So I'm going to formally introduce you with your mentor, and your mentor is going to be CC'd on that email. So that's how you can initiate the conversation and introduce yourself and make the arrangements for that first meeting that where you will be meeting with your mentor for the first time. Anyone else has any question? So Justin is saying, what would be the ideal frequency of meeting with our mentor? So for the purpose of the program, we require at least 6 mentoring sessions, but I highly encourage you to meet as often as possible. Ideally, I would say once a week. And if that's something that you negotiate with your mentor and your mentor is okay with that, then go for it and meet every week with your mentor. You can meet either in person, virtually, and you can use any platform that is easy for both of you in order to do those mentoring sessions. Probably virtual is it provides lots of flexibility for both you and your mentor. However, you can do a combination where some meetings can be in person and some meetings can be virtual, because also when you connect with a mentor in person, there is a different dynamic there. And I would also encourage you to at least meet once in person, if that will be possible. So when we get the mentor, so I will send you next week your an email to both you and your mentor, introducing you formally with your mentor, and that's how you can kickstart your mentorship partnership by following up with your mentor, introducing yourself, and making the necessary arrangements. Any other question? Okay, I see that I covered pretty much everything. However, if you have any questions after we wrap up, feel free to reach out to my email address. How many mentees are under one? There are just a few mentors who may have 2 mentees, but majority are one-on-one. Due to a higher rate of application for certain programs, and it depends also on the number of mentors that match those profiles. We had to match a few of them with 2 students. However, in the application form, they agree to that. So I don't think that a mentor who is mentoring 2 students will have an issue with making the necessary arrangements to meet with them. They may decide to do group mentoring. They may just go for a one-on-one. It is up to you and your mentor to decide how you will meet. So that may be the case for some of you. Unfortunately, it is hard to recruit mentors. And sometimes we may have more mentors from one specific field than from another field. And when we cannot balance out the number between mentee and mentors, we ask our mentors to mentee more than one students, and some of them are okay with that. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm wrapping up the session. I would like to thank you all for attending, and I look forward to a great mentoring program ahead, or mentoring season ahead. So good luck, everyone, and I hope to hear lots of success stories from all of you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.